Glorify the King. Father Yahweh, may the setting of the morning star encourage those, my brothers and sisters, in respect to cause 3,500 mortgages. We're losing our homes because of corruption in our churches and the infiltration of corrupt men and women into our government, the government of God. We have not been the best people. But today, I give God Most High sacred praise because of His grace and His mercy, and not because of what man would like to see happen to me. May God rebuke those, my enemies, sharply and suddenly in judgment. Father, I give myself away. I work hard for this property, and now your wish to take it away. But the Lord God will continue to rebuke y'all. How much y'all got to bet? The last thing y'all want to mess with is this young man who has worked very hard to get to where he's at. I'm asking every Bahamian under the sound of my voice who has a home, who has children, especially sons, and desire to see their children own something in this country. This little piece of property represents hard work. Well, first of all, self-discipline, hard work. When I came here, there was only one tree on this property. It's up further by the house. It is 3 apartments and my company downstairs. But the politicians have done everything in their power to try and keep the money out of my hand. So I have to now ask you, the people who have heard my voice for years, stand up and defend our right to appeal political and or religious and or civic, socially bad treatment. We are now reformed by way of time that no man or woman on the planet can stop. Now, my constitutional rights have been contravened beyond discrimination. Okay? This is the reason, along with my talent. Now, question. Is there any other Bahamian in the last 22 years who have taken any idea to either the sitting Prime Minister or the former Prime Minister and was assured by employees of their offices, respective offices, that the packages were received, delivered and received? How many were hand-delivered by those who were seeking for whatever the reason was in regard to their talent, and had, from back in these years, the proper assistance were granted, they would have been further. You see, back in my grandparents' days, Bahamians were given an opportunity to sell their craft. Now, we in a time where we have ungodly men who want you to continue selling your craft, knowing that in this day and time the technology exists where you can mass produce and sell your craft. With now credit cards at the disposal, but the banks are now not giving you the money Because why? Debit cards are available. If you could find the money, then you can make it happen. Now, I have given to the world, and I'm asking the world to please help us now. Cost $3,500. Save our homes. Now, this is how it could happen and how it could happen. I suggest how it could happen. A suggestion only. I'm talented. Everyone knows it. In any other country on any one of the 7 continents, I am still who I am. Providing the wicked. You see, they're trying to get me on the streets. The word on the street is anything a black man do on that out there on that road is a crime. Anything, even with your talent, man, you don't want to be on the street. So you come in your home that you work hard for. That bad political policies have corrupted the whole political process, and thus many Bahamians who were once successful and are now in trouble for many different reasons, whatever the reasons are. When we are brought before the courts under the Constitution, we have a right to a fair trial. We have a right. Criminal cases, you want to bring me down, destroy me if I do something wrong. But when the rich and the famous and those in your collect do wrong, you all want to say, and especially when a black man such as myself worked his way up to achieving these things. How many murders in the last 22 years? And because I would not, I have to say, murder someone or rape or rob someone to get ahead in life, well, hey, let this then be the truth in respect to this property. And I'll come back one day and I'll make a tribute in respect to this land. I make a special tribute in respect to those in authority who did this atrocity. Listen, this property is the dividing line in respect to nonsense, bad treatment, the government of the Bahamas treating the Bahamian people bad. You know, my ex-wife and I work for this. Okay? Together equally. And together we should benefit together. Now, out of anybody and everybody, the only 2 people who have most to lose in this is First Caribbean International Bank, who loan the money. And secondly, Amos J Miller Israel. Amos Miller to them. Because that young man, myself, have used at the time a property that was free and clear and unencumbered of any loan or any problem at all. And Justice Milton Evans, with the greatest respect in a humble way, but you know, they didn't educate me properly. So, you know, excuse me to everybody. Manners and respect was supposed to take you through this world, but then you don't supposed to be stupid. And because people are educated and perhaps compromise in whatever, for whatever reason or for whatever, in whatever way, I don't care what it is. You cannot disturb a man's sanctity and sanity in this way in the name of the Yeshua, God Most High, the Christ, everyone knows in government on the 7 continents lives. And he'll show up in the orphan 40 years from today to confirm what I'm saying. He'll show up in the disabled 40 years from today to show up to confirm what I'm saying today. He's going to show up in young men who will confirm what I'm saying today. He's going to show up in young women 40 years from today to confirm what I've said today. Every man, 2013, does not negate the fact that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948 proclamation by the General Assembly, providing corrupt men and women does not infiltrate governments, will always and should always be inalienable. Period. Now, with the greatest respect, this is my line of defense in this regard. And I hold And I put on the table, I place on the table before the people of this country and the people of this world the Universal Declaration of Human Rights document. Why is it so many Bahamians today does not have a smartphone and the capability to educate themselves with the World Wide Web for free in this country? Thanks and kudos to Barbados, who desire national plan and goal is to put a university graduate in every home. May the Lord God, who appears to me that the decent people in this country must be fair, or for God lives, or does not fair in this case, and for God lives, for all who call upon him. So, on this property is natural resources beyond our imagination. Do they think I don't know what these plants, some of them are? I might not know what all is, but I know what a whole lot of them is good for. Especially this one. This tree that we take for granted. This tree, okay, them. Look at my grape tree in the background. Look at my Angola tree. The other little one there. There's another one there I plant. Look at my trees. Look at my coconut trees. My lime tree over there. Near my home, I have all of my other trees that I have shown over the years. Okay, but when my coconut trees are growing, okay, and producing coconuts to feed me in a difficult time when everyone have deserted me and all hell have broken loose around me. But I would say, like David say, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. I will not surrender my life, work, decent work, and earthly possession that God has given to me through hard work, to no one in a corrupt way, in a corrupt manner, in a contravening way in respect to contravening my constitutional and democratic rights. So you all take those documents back. I'll be here. Serve it. Now, for at least September of last year, I have entertained the world. I have changed and caused a lot of things to change and come about. And if someone takes something from me in the way they are trying to get away with an unrighteous, ungodly, unjust ruling, and then have the nerve to further violate even more my constitutional right. Hey, I will lay down my life for 3,500 Bahamian homeowners, starting with this one, house number 599 on Blue Hill Road South. Excuse me. And that's because I fear God and God alone. Now, though things and a lot of things change, a whole lot of things remain the same. I will lay down my life any day, any time, to prove to the nation of the 242 what y'all have done and what I have articulated in respect to the reasons why y'all have done it in regard to now, in respect to this particular charge, defrauding myself from knowing the true nature, historical nature of my name and what it values in a day like this with the support of a government. This is what they're defrauding me out of. And this is why, once a senator, always a senator, Senator Daphne Duncombe Cooper said to me, right out to that gate, out in the front there, in any other country I would have been a billionaire times over, and I said to myself later on to me, to my God, well then I'll be that in this country. No one will force me from any step, any part of the Bahamas to cover up corruption in a corporation owned by an American company doing business in the Bahamas, to cover up corrupted employees, especially the illegal Haitian immigrants that claim to be a Bahamian citizen, placed in that company at the time it was Aqua Designs. I do agree in 2005 when they get the job, but by the time that affidavit and those summons and affidavit was taken out against this young man, those men, that company would have already been bought. Aqua Designs in Boston would have already been, according to my knowledge, and my knowledge from my wife of July 10th coming, in 3 days would have made us 14 years. So I say it happened, it happened. And listen, no one can take zero from me. As Willis Miller grandson, I am one of the most important part to Bahamian history living. And if now y'all don't know, I now know why y'all could bless everyone for 43 years, as far as I know myself, other than me. Anything I have, thanks be to God, as I kneel down on this ground and become one with nature like I have become one with God for the last 3 years. In this property, right over there, I lived over there for 5 years. I have been here for 10. The 5 years I worked hard on Paradise Island. The monies to pay my rent on time to the Greenslates who owned that property before I purchased this from Mr. Michael Wilshaw Bethel. Okay? Let me tell you where this come from. My father worked for that land that I use for collateral for this. What y'all think this is? Huh? I'm a warrior on the wall. Huh? This is where the dynamis effect was started. Any place I live, the Spirit of the living God is with me, whether it's here or under the ground, or whether it's here or whether it's there in another place and or in another time. I rise in the name of the Yeshua, and in the name of the Yeshua, the Constitution is the supreme law of this land, and no one contravenes, no one can contravene the law, the supreme law of this land called the Constitution, especially violating by corrupt persecution through persecution. And while you're doing it, you're claiming you're doing a lot of things for Bahamians. No, let me know and let the Bahamian people know, those of us who in the last 22 years who took our talents and our secrets, our little works, that we needed the government little help and little support for it. And in my case, all I needed, at least especially since the Progressive Liberal Party leader, Mr. Perry, the Right Honorable Perry Glasson Christie, would have come into government, because I went to him with most of my talent, 3 of which is 3 DVDs at the earlier stage of my development 3 years. That was 3 years ago. He still refused to assist this young man, and now you all know why. Because of the history of Willis Miller, who would have been in World War II. He would have then, after all the great things, would have then also was one of them chosen to go and work on the contract, a strong man. And he worked hard, and he took care of his family. Today I have a great father, I have a great uncle. However, both of those men did not properly, in their son and nephew, humble and respectful, with manners opinion, did enough for Willis Miller before he left this earth. Now, I am ashamed to have to admit that, but at the end of the day, is that the truth or not? If it is the truth, the not is irrelevant and does not negate the truth. Now, let it be known to everyone, this young man is peculiar because of these reasons. I'm a royalty, not because of what's in my pocket, not because of what others might want to take away. No, I will walk away from this by choice. But don't tell me you're taking something from me because you want to please someone else who you all know is compromised, but because they are connected to these powerful and influential people, so you're sharing who y'all want to become lawyers to do business with this company for. Listen to me, no one challenge Willis Miller's seed in this manner, and do not expect to be checkmated. Period. Now, let me tell you what I want. The illegal immigrants that threatened my life, fought with me in the streets of Paradise Island. That's the case 0000995-2011 started to take place. And then you'll see a whole chain of events where one, my ex-wife, she left the house. She left the house, after that, you start to see where cases was brought against me from this company's employees, because they were the ones who she was lying for, that saying they were not the young man. Emmanuel Francis was not in my house. She brought the man into my house, and I still said on the 27th, into my house, and I still had the decency to say on the 27th, and I'm saying brought him into my house. This would have been when we start to have the argument, almost around December of 2010. This is when her plan kick in, and she decides she's going to push out, because this brother is going to find out the wrong she was one dealing with in the company. So let it be known, no one could take zero from me, and the truth don't come out when I say it come out. And at the end of the day, my intellectual property in respect to the Registrar General Office, in respect to the Ministry of Finance, will be now in order. YouTube, Google+, Twitter, and Facebook is confirmation. Is social, is the world's powerful social mediums, and LinkedIn, and Instagram, and the principle that created those world mediums will tell you all the first time they ever see certain images, somebody by the name of Amos Miller was the one who doing it. Even though many people start to hack my first account, the first Amos Miller account, and was saying a whole lot of stuff. And you see, I'm still learning. I'm a child learning trying to find out a whole lot of stuff about the Spirit of God, and a whole lot of books that should have been in our Bible. Listen, see, that's what y'all want to live for. What y'all want to live for. If this is how I want to live, then let me live, not with my dirty yard like this, because the world should have seen. When I purchased this property in 2005, this was the cleanest thing in the South. Bad political policies and bad personal decisions would have helped to, and bad personal decisions in respect to religious reasons, and breaking the spiritual law, okay? That now God is saying to me, because you turn, I turn. God is saying to you, if you all turn, he'll turn. If the nation turn, he'll turn the nation's bad situation around. While he say, we's the salt of the earth, where did the salt come from? It had to come. You see, they say chip don't fall far from the block. Well, if he say we's the salt, and the salt in this case is the chip that fell from the block of salt called God. Now, who's y'all to discriminate against a Bahamian and the Bahamians like this for the last 22 years of your governance? And in some cases, directly and primarily to keep this house down for special interest in respect to London, in respect to the House of Windsor, in respect to the reigning sovereign and Her Majesty the Queen and the Prince. You see, I go to the top. Remember that who can come and be king? I remember what the truth is. The truth is, this is the reason why you all keeping me down, yes or no? Huh? Is this the reason why you're trying to keep me down and take everything from me? Yes or no? In a time when the majority of our natural resources in the hands of a foreigner. Is this the reason why you're trying to keep me down? Because I stand up for major national issues or major issues of national importance that affect the real true Bahamian people and individual, primarily and specifically and majority the real Bahamian male? Is this the reason why y'all want to keep me down? Behind that wall, it was terrible. No one could have passed. They spent millions, over $15 million in this area called the South Beach constituency. And they didn't give me a job. Let the Bahamian people know how, oh yeah, those guys used the truck. It's gone now. I had to sell it to be alive to make this video. It's costing me everything. It cost me everything so far, as y'all can hear and see. It cost me mentally everything. But I'm still focused mentally in the worldly sense of the word, but 1,000% focused in the spiritual sense of the word. But from a physical perspective, I had to give up a whole lot to bring these words to you, and I hope that you will support my little private account. I won't be stupid and use the money to squander, but I will use the money or the money on the account or the account itself to bargain as like a collateral to say, see, this is what I have and this is my talent, and these are the people who assisted me. These are the people who are saying give the young man a chance, just so we can make sure what he is saying, we would have at least give him a chance. But don't discriminate against me and victimize me and persecute me for corrupt religious leaders' reasons, okay, and family reasons, I might add, coupled by discriminating against me, okay, for corrupt political influential reasons that have nothing to do with building a nation and building an individual and building individuals in a nation and talking nonsense with the young people. Yes, we must do a whole lot for the young people, but you're telling me every 5 years y'all gonna drop off a certain amount of the people and say, now we ain't around, but y'all 25,000 what came out of school that we didn't do nothing for, that we didn't, and we're talking for the last 22 years. Every 5 years they keep, this is what they do. Every 5 years is 25,000 people not being properly educated. So what are y'all saying to me? Give me a break, okay? And maybe I might give you all a break, all right? And as I speak to my nation, I speak to my nation from my heart with the greatest respect. Now, I like my little old car over there, but that's for sale too. Now, every last one of these coconut trees, I'm prepared to sell. To any of the establishments. You know, they might not want no one to know they help me directly like that. So simply, if anyone know of the persons who's collect the trees to sell them, send the people to me and buy the trees so I could put the money there and show the Bahamian people how what I will do to help save, and because all I have given was to show my self-discipline, to show, to show what I Amos J Miller Israel is prepared to do in respect to building a nation. You can't build a nation breaking down your own and trying to make a criminal out of them because you have influence using corrupt, in my view, and questionable radio station owners, television station owners, because they have their own little religious, this is where the religious conspiracy part also comes in. It's a conspiracy. And I'm telling them, it ain't happening. So, I'm sorry if I offend people to speak the truth, but I have to stand up for not only myself, but for others, because this is good, and this is what the Most High expect for an individual person to do if they're being discriminated in such abusive way. This nation have been discriminated upon and have been abused over the last, in my view, 22 years in some aspect. And may the devil be ashamed. I'm not saying the former Right Honorable Prime Minister Hubert Alexander Ingram, or the now sitting Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Glasson Christie, does not mean our country well. I am absolutely does not saying that, but I'm saying if you do not and you reject giving me a chance to work, if you say tourist is the main industry and I go into the trucking business to build trucking because of the tourist business, because why? I would have asked for jobs in respect to asking the hotels for jobs, and they didn't hire me. They didn't want to hire me. And why? Because of my own personal reasons in the past when I would have been younger, but that does not negate the fact it is the truth. But the fact of the matter, then, let's talk then from the time the young man straightened up to fly right. It is absolutely egregious and amazing. No matter how much things change around in respect to our natural resources in the hands of foreigners, the Bahamian average home person who would have worked so hard after all of those years of surrendering, it appears we're the ones whose homes are gone. 3,500 people homes, you say, represents almost $500 million. $500 million. Well, I can sell 500 things. Okay? It could be different if you wish, but I will come up with 500 things. Or one major thing that I'll sell to the 500 companies representing the Fortune 500, representing and making up the Fortune 500 company. Or I'll sell one thing to the Fortune 500 companies, all of them put together, and purchase just one thing for me for $500 million. Okay? I'll give up certain rights to certain and claims to certain things. So this home and 3,500 other homes could be saved. Now, these are not going to be no sacrifice for no questionable politicians. Zero. Other than that, the way things remain now, it'll still remain, but it won't be the same. You'll feel me on the New York Stock Exchange. I might be dead and gone, but the Bahamian people will say, truly, that young man loved God Most High, and his spirit is now with the spirit of the Yeshua. And together I'll come back with the Yeshua and every demon that was in opposition to the Bahamian people enjoying their constitutional rights in this country, their universal declaration rights in this country with the respect, the good respect. The wealth of the people in their hand will cause them to live a decent life. They won't be a bunch of homosexuals and a bunch of lesbians. Okay, a bunch of corrupt murderers, rapists, robbers, and all this stuff. We was not that kind of people when we were a fishing, farming village who trusted in the Most High God, period. So let it be known, for these reasons, I have lost. Okay? It all in this world sense. So they call it lose. But in my view, I have lost or lose to win. Even better for our people. Thank you for listening to this little documentary. May God, Yahweh, great God Almighty, in the spirit of the Yeshua, everything he stands for leading up to great God, amen. Right down the dawn of time.